1. Late arrival. Song Annie was only 5 minutes late, yet the big boss had whisked her into his office and lectured her for a full hour. When she exited the president's office, Song Annie's face was brightly flushed, eyes red and swollen. She looked as if she'd lost her soul. She had clearly been crying. The entire secretarial department felt sorry for her. Song Annie was a new intern who had been assigned to the secretarial office. Her usual tasks involved writing soft copy press releases and organizing miscellaneous documents. However, for whatever reason, the president always seemed to have a problem with her. Every day, he'd find a reason to haul her into his office and scold her. And every time Song Annie emerged from his office, she would look like she did now. Song Annie finally managed to sit down in her own seat. Momo, another intern, slid over in her chair, expressing her indignation on Song Annie's behalf.
The boss is really too much. He clearly sees you as an easy target.
Then she sighed.
Annie, how did you manage to upset the boss so much?
How could the first thing he'd do upon returning from a business trip be to lecture you?
Song Annie's mind hadn't entirely recovered from everything that had happened in the office, still consumed by the vivid and intense scenes. He was only away on a business trip for 2 days, yet he seemed to have more energy than ever. If she hadn't begged him tearfully, she might have been stuck there for another hour. Her colleague Momo felt really sorry for Song Annie, but there was nothing she could do. She could only pat Song Annie's shoulder.
Take it easy, Annie. After all, there's only 1 week left in our internships. Just tough it out.
Song Annie is a junior studying media management at a university, and she was only interning for a month during her winter break. Song Annie nodded in a daze. Momo's sympathy deepened.
During tonight's department dinner, we'll all help you think of a solution. Don't worry too much.
Only then did Song Annie snap back into reality.
A department dinner? Do I have to attend?
Momo whispered.
Of course you have to attend. It's being hosted by Shunana. Apparently, she's been promoted.
That's not the point, though. The point is that many of our senior colleagues from the secretarial office will be there. We can't just snub them. Shunana was also an intern, studying at the same university, but in a different class from Song Annie. Rumor had it that she had connections and was parachuted into an internship at Changming Group. Well, she was also parachuted in. Song Annie had spent the entire afternoon worrying because he told her to go straight home after work when they were in the office earlier. After considering it all afternoon, Song Annie decided to go to the dinner. Otherwise, she was afraid her body wouldn't be able to handle it if she went home. She had never imagined that such a seemingly frigid, abstinent man would turn into a starved wolf the moment he was alone with her. Anyway, when he had whispered those words in her ear, Song Annie was lost in the throes of wild pleasure, barely conscious. It would be better if she pretended not to have heard anything. So, after work, Song Annie and Su Xiaoman happily attended the company gathering. Even though it was Shu Nana who was hosting the gathering, Song Annie mysteriously became the focus of attention. The conversation inevitably turns towards why the boss disliked her so much. Song Annie had an innocent look on her face. I really don't know why. Everyone felt even more sympathetic towards her. Only halfway through the meal, Song Annie's phone rang. Seeing the number, Song Annie's heart dropped. She moved to a corner of the room and answered the call. Li Tianyu's deep, magnetic voice came from the other end of the line. Where are you? Chapter 2. Why did Li Tianyu choose her specifically? Song Annie honestly said, Yipin Building, departmental dinner. Li Tianyu's voice was cold and clearly showed a hint of annoyance. Come home, now. Having said that, he hung up the phone. Song Annie was stunned for half a minute. She returned to her seat and hurriedly said, I have something urgent to take care of. I have to leave. Everyone saw her anxiety, assuming something had happened, and no one attempted to stop her. Song Annie left the restaurant and hailed a taxi directly back to Imperial View Garden. This was an independent garden villa built on the hillside. From the outside, it looked like a palace.
The housekeeper greeted her at the door.
Madam, you're back.
Song Annie asked.
Where is Mr. Li?
The housekeeper respectfully responded.
Sir is in the bedroom.
Song Annie quickly went upstairs to the bedroom. When she reached the door, she hesitated for a moment. In the end, however, she pushed the door open. At first glance, there was no one in the room. However,
There was the sound of running water from the bathroom. Li Tianyu was taking a shower. Anni heaved a sigh of relief, put her bag down, and absent-mindedly sat down on the sofa. Her gaze, without her realizing, fell on the bathroom area. Truth be told, everything that happened today felt like a dream to Anni. The story behind her shotgun wedding with the man currently in the bathroom was quite complicated. But when Anni got her marriage certificate, she had no idea that he was the youngest CEO of Changming Group, or the oldest grandson of the Li family, one of the 4 great financial powers of Feng City, and the top bachelor in Asia. Recently, Li Tianyu still topped the list of diamond bachelors, but nobody knew that he was already married.
Anni still didn't understand why out of everyone, Li Tianyu chose her. Was it merely because... Just as Anni was consumed with her swirling thoughts, the frosted glass door in the bathroom was pulled open. Li Tianyu emerged from the bathroom. Anni's gaze naturally fell on him. Li Tianyu was bare-chested, with only a white towel wrapped around his lower body. Every inch of his body was lean muscle. His skin wasn't trendy bronze, but rather white, resembling the texture of a porcelain kiln, giving him an elegant, handsome look. His broad, firm chest and his perfect six-pack denoted an appealing sense of maturity and charm. Anni was left momentarily dumbfounded. They had been together intimately more than once or twice, yet every time, Anni kept her eyes closed, never daring to watch. Seeing Anni's astounded expression, Li Tianyu asked, "Mrs. Li, are you satisfied with your husband's physique?" Only then did Anni recover from her trance, blushingly turning her gaze away. "I wouldn't know. I've never touched you before." Having said that, Anni only wanted to bite off her own tongue. What was she saying? Perhaps due to past experiences, Anni felt that Li Tianyu was somewhat dangerous now, especially after seeing the smirk on his face. Li Tianyu ambled over leisurely in Anni's direction. Anni could only feel the sense of danger drawing closer and closer. As expected, Li Tianyu stopped in front of Anni. "Go ahead, touch." They had done the most intimate things, but Anni truly hadn't touched him. Every time, she had been dazed under him, letting him manipulate her as he pleased. The moment Anni's finger touched Li Tianyu, a current flowed through it, and she reflexively tried pulling her hand back. But what was supposed to happen, happened. When Anni next opened her eyes, it was already 8 in the morning. Chapter 3. Comparing him to Teddy. After being utterly exhausted from the previous night, Anni overslept. Despite setting an alarm on her phone, it unbelievably didn't go off. Suddenly sitting up, Anni startled the slumbering man next to her.
Waking up grumpy, the man slightly grumbled.
"What on earth are you doing so early in the morning?" Panicked, Anni said, "It's already 8. I'm late for work." Just as she was about to hustle out of bed, she was pulled back by Li Tianyu. He held her tight and said, "Given you're already late, why not stay in bed with me a bit longer?" Anni was reluctant, but she dared not refuse. Luckily, Li Tianyu seemed to drift back to sleep, allowing her to gently sneak away from his embrace. Just when she was nearly out of his grasp, he suddenly opened his eyes and warned her with a hoarse voice. "Anni, haven't you heard it's dangerous to act like a caterpillar first thing in the morning?" Before she could react, he pulled her back and pressed her down. By the time Anni got to the office, it was already 9:30. Momo leaned over and asked, "Anni, why are you so late today?" Images of this morning's intimate scene flashed in Anni's mind, and her face turned bright red.
Momo commented, "Your face is so red. Are you running a fever?" Quickly coming up with a cover story, Anni said, "My pet dog at home is too clingy. I couldn't leave." Just as she finished speaking, Momo nudged her arm.
"The CEO is here."
As expected, Li Tianyu walked past them, pausing ever so slightly, as though he was glancing in Anni's direction. Anni held her breath. Hopefully, he didn't overhear anything. Once Li Tianyu entered his office, her Momo sighed.
"When the CEO glared at you just now, I thought he would summon you to his office for a scolding again, Anni. You're lucky today. You were late, but so was the CEO."
Of course, Li Tianyu was late. They came together.
Luckily, no one saw Song Anni getting out of Li Tianyu's car. Standing nearby, Shu Nana overheard Song Anni and her Momo's conversation and asked, "Anni, you have a pet dog. What breed is it?" Taken aback, Song Anni blurted out, "Teddy." If Li Tianyu found out that Song Anni compared him to a teddy dog, he probably wouldn't let her off easy. However, he probably didn't have the time to attend to her now, because he had to leave for a business trip in the afternoon.
Before boarding the plane, Li Tianyu sent a text to Song Anni. "Going on a business trip to Tokyo. We'll be back in 3 days." They had been secretly married for 3 months, and Li Tianyu spent half of his time traveling for work. But regardless of where he went, he always sent Song Anni a text message before his flight. Song Anni's internship was going to finish in a week. She was just hoping to pass it smoothly and return to school. Little did she know, a bewildering event would occur the next day. As soon as Song Anni arrived at the office the next day, she found many people gathered around her desk. Walking over, she saw a giant bouquet of roses on her desk. A colleague looked at Song Anni with a hint of envy. "Anni, who sent these? They are so extravagant. 99 multicolored roses? That's worth 3 months of our salaries." Song Anni was also puzzled. There was a note on it. After reading the note, her face turned pale instantly. She picked up the roses and tossed them into the nearby trash bin. Everyone was confused. A colleague whispered, "Anni, did your boyfriend send these?"
Have you two had a fight? Another colleague said, "If my boyfriend used 99 multicolored roses to coax me, I would forgive him immediately." Song Anni didn't explain anything. Seeing her demeanor, everyone decided not to ask any more questions. The whole day, Song Anni was on edge. It wasn't until she left work and saw her Chenkai's car parked outside the company building that she finally relaxed. Chapter 4. The birthday gift is catching. Cheating in the bed. Song Anni had initially planned to turn around and leave. However, her Chenkai saw her, got out of the car, and quickly grabbed Song Anni's arm. "Anni, listen to my explanation." Song Anni turned around, her voice cold. "Fine, speak. I'll listen." Her Chenkai said, "I was drunk that day. I thought Meili was you." Song Anni responded, "Is the explanation over? If it's over, I'm leaving." It was rush hour, and many people came and went at the building's exit. Momo just happened to have driven her small Polo out of the garage. Anni turned around to intercept her and hopped into the car. Her Chenkai didn't chase her. After the car entered the freeway, Momo asked, "Who was that handsome guy just now?"
Was he the one who sent roses this morning?
"Boyfriend?" Song Anni shook her head.
He was. Ex-boyfriend? It looks like he came to reconcile. But why did you two break up? He's incredibly handsome, and it looks like his family is well off. Anni, how could you let go of such a prime catch? Momo, I have a headache. Song Anni usually seemed nonchalant, even if she frequently got reprimanded by the CEO. But it was rare to see her in her current state. So Momo stopped asking. Song Anni looked out at the night scene, and her thoughts drifted to 3 months ago. November 11th was Song Anni's birthday. The birthday gift that her Chenkai gave her was catching him in bed with somebody else. It was with her best friend, Zhou Meili. Being betrayed by the 2 closest people in her life in a single day is what led Anni to the Night Emperor bar to drown her sorrows, and what led to the ensuing events. For 3 consecutive days, expensive rainbow roses appeared on Song Anni's desk, and every evening, her Chenkai would wait at the company's entrance. The entire office knew that there was a super handsome guy desperately pursuing Song Anni.
Song Anni didn't bother explaining. Only Momo knew the true story. On the 4th day, Song Anni again received rainbow roses on her warm desk. But there was also a visitor. It was Zhou Meili. Song Anni frowned at the sight of her. But Zhou Meili quickly approached, saying, "Anni, you won't see me or answer my calls, so I had to come here. Can we talk?" There were already many people in the office, all with curious gazes. Not wanting to attract attention, Song Anni said, "Come with me." Song Anni led Zhou Meili to a nearby meeting room. Once inside, Zhou Meili, tears flowing down her face, grabbed Song Anni's arm and said, "Anni, I'm sorry. Can you forgive me just this once? I don't want to lose my best friend." Song Anni responded,
If you really considered me a friend, you wouldn't have done what you did. I remember that you weren't drunk that day. Through her tear-streaked face, Zhou Meili continued. Annie, you must not know. I've liked young Master He for a long time. Yes, you two grew up together, and I shouldn't have intervened. But if love could be controlled, it wouldn't be love. Love, huh? Zhou Meili continued to plead. Annie, we've been friends for so many years.
Can't you let me have young Master He? You're the cherished daughter of the Song family. Even if you don't have young Master He, you'll find a better place in the future. But I'm not the same. Without young Master He, I really have nothing. Annie, you've always been non-competitive. Can't you just let him go? Song Annie was rendered speechless. Let him go? She had never clung to him. After that incident, Song Annie realized there was no possibility between her and her Chenkai. Song Annie turned around and said, Is that the reason you came here today? Chapter 5. I'm pregnant. Zhou Meili had rarely seen Song Annie so icy, her tone slightly changing. So you really won't forgive me? Song Annie, you already have so much. Why are you still fighting me for Chenkai? You just can't stand to see me succeed, right? Song Annie was at loss for words. What was Zhou Meili's logic here? It was clear Zhou Meili was the one who intervened in her relationship with her Chenkai first. But now, Song Annie was the villain who just couldn't bear to see Zhou Meili happy. Song Annie said, Zhou Meili, there's nothing more to be said between us. I still have work to do. Excuse me. Just as Song Annie was about to turn around and leave, Zhou Meili grabbed her arm. Song Annie, let me tell you one more thing. Meili, what are you doing? A tall figure suddenly appeared at the door. He Chenkai had already walked over, a palpable anger evident on his face. Zhou Meili, how many times have I told you not to bother Anni? Zhou Meili instantly turned into a pitiful, aggrieved figure. I only came here to ask Anni for her forgiveness. I've been begging her to forgive me. All of this is my fault. It has nothing to do with you. Song Anni had no idea that Zhou Meili was such a good actress. He Chenkai softened his gaze at Zhou Meili. He turned to Song Anni and said, Anni, my dad got discharged from the hospital today. Would you be okay with coming over for dinner tonight? You're angry at me, but that doesn't mean you should be angry at my parents. The Xias and the Lus were old friends, and Song Anni had spent nearly half her childhood at the He's. He Zhiqian and Wang Jialin truly cherished Song Anni, just like their own daughter.
Song Anni asked, When was Uncle He hospitalized?
Observing Song Anni's reaction, He Chenkai saw a chance and said, The usual. He just had a heart bypass surgery. This morning he was mentioning you, saying how he hasn't seen you for a long while. As Song Anni was hesitating, Zhou Meili could stand it no longer. She opened her mouth and said, What about me, young Master He? What should I do if she goes? Tonight, there was a dinner party at the He family, and she knew He Chenkai would surely invite Anni over. That's why she had come early. If Song Anni really went to the party, under the warmth and kindness of He Chenkai's parents, she might soften her stance. Then all Zhou Meili's efforts would have been in vain. She couldn't let the two of them reconcile. He Chenkai, caught off guard by the usually soft Zhou Meili suddenly pulling this stunt, his face immediately hardened, and he said coldly, What does that have to do with you? Stop being ridiculous. He Chenkai's implication was more than clear. Zhou Meili said, I didn't want to, but I'm pregnant. Her words were like a bolt of lightning. Zhou Meili seemed to have completely changed, calmly pulling a stack of papers from her bag. These are the ultrasound reports. Song Anni saw the line on the report stating 6 weeks of pregnancy. Song Anni said, 6 weeks? That's only a little over 40 days. But that incident had happened 3 months ago. A hint of a smile crossed Zhou Meili's lips, her gaze fixed on Song Anni's face. That's right. We've done it again after that. Many times. He Chenkai roared in anger and shoved Zhou Meili. Zhou Meili, shut your mouth! Song Anni laughed. Turning to He Chenkai, she said, He Chenkai, do you think I'm a fool? Ha Chenkai panicked and grabbed Song Anni's arm. "Let me explain, Anni. Let me explain." Meanwhile, Zhou Meili, almost knocked off her feet by Ha Chenkai's shove, felt cold inside. He didn't care about the child in her womb. All he cared about was Song Anni's reaction. This made her hate Song Anni even more. In the middle of all the chaos, the door to the conference room suddenly opened. Li Tianyu appeared, standing coldly at the entrance. Chapter 6. Inhuman. Oh, inhuman. All three of them were dumbfounded. Li Tianyu. There wasn't a face in the entire Kyoto that didn't recognize him. The dream lover of all women in Kyoto, the man all socialites wanted to marry, and the ultimate goal of all superstar models was standing right in front of them. This face, besides constantly being featured in finance magazine's elite sections, also frequently appeared as a hot topic in entertainment headlines. Zhou Meili, being in the same news field, could not fail to recognize him. Li Tianyu had already made his unhurried approach, standing beside Song Anni, his voice low and magnetically asking, "Who are they?" Song Anni hadn't expected Li Tianyu to appear suddenly, but now her thoughts were jumbled. She said, "Total strangers." There was a rare softness on Li Tianyu's face as he held Song Anni's hand. "I brought some gifts for you from Japan. Go check if you like them." Li Tianyu seemed to completely ignore He Chenkai and Zhou Meili standing aside. He Chenkai instantly sensed that the atmosphere was off, but Li Tianyu had already wrapped his arm around Song Anni's shoulders, ready to leave the conference room. He Chenkai suddenly walked up and grabbed Song Anni's arm, demanded, "Anni, what's your relationship with him?" Song Anni paused in her steps, and Li Tianyu also turned around. All eyes fell on Song Anni, including Zhou Meili's. Li Tianyu was also looking at Song Anni, as if waiting for an answer. Song Anni took a deep breath and clearly stated, "He's my boyfriend." Both Li Tianyu and He Chenkai frowned upon hearing this. He Chenkai looked somewhat disbelieving. "Anni, how could you do this to me?" Looking at the hurt expression on He Chenkai's face and Zhou Meili's disbelief, Song Anni admitted, at that moment, she felt a sense of satisfaction. Li Tianyu's timely appearance allowed Song Anni to salvage some of her dignity, without making her look like a fool they completely played around with. Song Anni couldn't be bothered dealing with He Chenkai anymore. She took the initiative to hold on to Li Tianyu's arm, saying, "Let's go to Yan Garden Fish Restaurant for boiled fish tonight. We haven't had it in a while." Li Tianyu affectionately tapped Song Anni's nose. "As you wish, my little foodie." He Chenkai's face had already turned green. He suddenly yelled out at Li Tianyu at the door, "Do you want to know what my relationship with Song Anni is? I was her first love." He Chenkai was already impatient. Even after having been with Zhou Meili, he was still confident to keep their relationship because he and Song Anni were childhood sweethearts. But at the moment Li Tianyu showed up, for the first time, he felt an overwhelming sense of threat. Li Tianyu turned around, saying softly and lightly, "I was her first man." With that, he walked out of the conference room with Song Anni. Many people from the secretarial division were looking this way. A man and a woman came to see Song Anni early in the morning. It wasn't hard for them to imagine a drama unfolding. But when the big boss appeared unexpectedly, the situation became unpredictable. The big boss was already not fond of Song Anni, and now she was using the company's conference room to deal with her personal love affairs during working hours. When the big boss just returned, everyone was discussing the relationships of those involved.
Himomo was a big mouth and said that the handsome guy was Annie's ex.
The boss happened to hear as he walked by. Without even pausing, he went straight to the conference room. Everyone sympathized with Song Anni. She wasn't usually liked by the boss, and they assumed this time would bring her more bad luck. As expected, Song Anni came out of the conference room with the big boss. Then Song Anni, with her head bowed, followed the big boss into the president's office. Chapter 7. This man looks handsome even when he is narcissistic. Everyone felt that Song Anni was really in a terrible situation. Not only was she confronted with her ex-boyfriend and his other woman at her workplace, but she was also pulled out by the big boss, taken to his office, and scolded, losing all dignity. It was truly inhumane. The moment the door to the CEO's office closed, Song Anni was pressed against the door by Li Tianyu. His kisses rained down on her like a storm, stealing Song Anni's breath away. With a punishing intensity, Li Tianyu's kisses were rougher than usual, causing Song Anni's mind to blur, rendering her powerless.
After a long while, Li Tianyu released Song Anni, but her body was still pressed against the door. Li Tianyu, propped up on his arm, looked at Song Anni. Her face was flushed, like a ripe peach, her eyes misty, resembling the drizzling rain in Jiangnan. Song Anni is very beautiful, but her beauty is subtle, soothing to the eye, usually as serene and as pure as a water lily, untouched by dust. But now, this water lily had transformed into a poppy, her lips swollen and ruby red, criminally tempting. Li Tianyu could see her pale, swan-like neck and her chest faintly rising and falling from his vantage point. Li Tianyu swallowed, restraining the desire surging within him, and hoarsely asked, "Why didn't I ever hear about you having a first love?" Song Anni came back to her senses. "You never asked, and I thought you knew." Of course he knew, but the thought of that brat possibly sharing a similar kiss with Song Anni, sharing in her beauty, ignited a fire in his heart. Song Anni could feel a hint of anger in Li Tianyu's kiss, but didn't understand why he was upset. Li Tianyu said, "Why did you introduce me as your boyfriend instead of your husband, Song Anni? We're legally married." Does being my wife embarrass you?
Song Anni finally understood the source of Li Tianyu's anger. It was because of this. Although they were married, they hadn't announced it to the public, including their families. Song Anni thought their secret marriage was a mutual agreement. For Li Tianyu, his single status made him more attractive. As for herself, she wasn't confident the marriage could last. If it was destined to end, it was better not to disclose it from the start. Of course, Song Anni couldn't say that. If the proud Li Tianyu knew Song Anni's real thoughts, he would probably get even angrier. Song Anni said, "I'm a sophomore, and being married wouldn't be good for my reputation. As for you with your high status, handsome looks, and wealth, the line of women who want to marry you can reach all the way to Paris. Even if I tell them we're married, they wouldn't believe it. But a scandal could be acceptable." Upon hearing these words from Song Anni, Li Tianyu seemed slightly relieved. "So, you think I'm handsome?" he asked. Song Anni hurriedly flattered him. "You're the handsomest man in the world." Li Tianyu raised his eyebrows. "Seeing that you're honest, I'll forgive you this time." A smug man showing off. It's really... All right, Song Anni had to admit, even when Li Tianyu bragged, he still looked good. Chapter 8. I can't take you watching me like this. Song Anni didn't want to leave Li Tianyu's office, because she knew as soon as she stepped out, she would definitely become the center of everyone's gossip again. She decided to take shelter inside. Li Tianyu was already at work. This man was busy every day. Changming Group was the business empire his father, Li Changming, built from scratch. It had developed over half a century, expanding Changming's business into various industries, especially Changming Real Estate, which is the industry leader. The man before her, engrossed in his work, was now worth hundreds of billions. Though Song Anni also came from a wealthy background, her father is the chairman of Starlight International, a media tycoon, with properties including talent agencies, newspapers, and publishing houses. Even so, there was still a gap between the Song family and the Li family. In addition to a vast family business, the Li family also had a powerful political background. Therefore, the Li family has always held first place among the four major families. Song Anni used to hear her father mention Li Tianyu, calling him a rare business talent in a century. But what people talked about more was Li Tianyu's origin. Because Li Changming is almost 80 now, and Li Tianyu is only 27. It's said that Li Changming had a son late in life, but it is common knowledge that Li Changming's first wife died shortly after giving birth to Li Tianyu's sister, Li Wenli. Li Changming remained a widower for many years, but he unexpectedly had a son at the age of 50. There were many rumors about this. Some said that Li Tianyu was Li Changming's illegitimate son, while others said he was an orphan Li Changming adopted. When Li Tianyu was 17, Li Changming handed his huge business empire to him, and now it's been exactly 10 years.
Song Anni could not imagine how a 17-year-old boy managed to hold up such a business empire. It was said that at first, some of Chongming's old shareholders even threatened suicide, thinking that handing over Chongming to a child was a big joke. However, today, everyone at Chongming deeply admires him, and Chongming's industry is flourishing with an unshakable status. Li Tianyu has always been a miracle in the business world. Song Anni, if you continue staring at me, I will not be able to bear it. Li Tianyu's deep voice came from across his desk. Song Anni froze when she realized she had been staring at Li Tianyu for quite some time. Song Anni's face flushed as she quickly stood up from the sofa. I'll go back to work. As soon as Song Anni returned to her desk, her colleagues crowded around. Anni, are you okay? Did the chairman reprimand you? Song Anni shook her head. I'm fine. There's no need for you all to worry. Shu Nana remarked. Even if the boss personally scolds you, it's a kind of happiness, isn't it? Out of all the secretaries in the office, Anni has been to the chairman's office the most. We don't even have a chance to catch a glimpse.
Annie, I'm really envious of you.
Hearing Shu Nana say this, someone teased, Nana, you haven't fallen for the boss, have you? With that, Shu Nana's face turned bright red.
What are you talking about? I didn't.
Someone flattered Shu Nana. Even if you do, there's nothing wrong. Your Shu family is one of the 4 major families in Feng City. As Shu family's miss, you are a perfect match for the Li family. You're also very beautiful, and you're the only intern who was hired directly. It proves that the boss also likes you very much. Perhaps one day, you will become our Madam Chairman. Shu Nana's face turned even redder as she said, What Madam Chairman? I've never thought about it. Please stop saying nonsense. Look, Nana's blushing. Our future Madam Chairman is shy. A group of people started to tease. In an instant, the focus of everyone shifted from Song Anni. Finally, Song Anni took a sigh of relief. Chapter 9. Your husband is physically and mentally healthy, full of vigor. The following days passed without any disturbances. He Chenkai and Zhou Meili didn't appear again. Song Anni seamlessly finished her internship at Changming and prepared for the school term. The day before school started, Wang Xiuying called her, inviting her home for dinner. Wang Xiuying was once a top star in the entertainment circle, and now she is Song Anni's stepmother. Song Anni's mother passed away when she was 12, and she was surprised to find that half a year later, her father married Wang Xiuying. In Song Anni's memory, her father was a gentlemanly and deeply affectionate man, always treating her mother with great care, especially during her illness. Song Anni did not object to her father remarrying, but what she couldn't accept was that Wang Xiuying brought a daughter named Song Xiaoxiao, who was only 2 years younger than Song Anni, and also her father's biological daughter. This indicated her father had been unfaithful for many years. Song Anni only found out when she got older that her father's relationship with Wang Xiuying was always an open secret in their circle. Li Tianyu finished work exceptionally early today. When he returned, Song Anni was packing her luggage. Song Anni said to Li Tianyu, I'm going home tonight, and I will take my luggage with me. I'll go straight to school tomorrow, and I won't be coming back here. Li Tianyu asked, Do you want me to come with you? Song Anni quickly replied, No need. I can go home by myself. My dad doesn't know I'm married. Li Tianyu added, How about as your boyfriend? Even worse, they don't know I broke up with Chenkai either. Li Tianyu calmly asked, So when do you plan to tell them? Song Anni thought for a moment. I will tell them tonight that I don't have any ties with He Chenkai anymore. Seeing Song Anni's resolute decision, Li Tianyu smirked, handing Song Anni a key. This is your reward. Song Anni looked puzzled. What is this for? The key to Maple Villa. It's not far from your school. You can move there after school starts. Maple Villa was a garden villa in Li Tianyu's name. Song Anni had been there once. It was a typical wealthy residential area with excellent privacy, home to many celebrities. Song Anni said, I live on campus. Li Tianyu asked, So where would I stay? Song Anni was taken aback. You plan to move there too? Li Tianyu said, Song Anni, you are now a married woman. I, your husband, am in good health and in my prime. I have no intentions of living separately. Song Anni's face inexplicably turned red.
She had been cohabiting with Li Tianyu for 3 months now, which she felt was the most daring thing she'd done in her life. Li Tianyu spent half of his time traveling for work, but when he was home, things could always get heated. Each time felt unavoidable, and Hia Anmi had no resistance to such circumstances. Looking at Song Anni's blushing face, Li Tianyu couldn't resist kissing her. Song Anni was inexperienced. She didn't even know how to breathe during a kiss. Against Li Tianyu's advances, she was always defeated. Seeing Li Tianyu slowly unbuttoning Song Anni's top, Song Anni suddenly snapped back to reality, holding his hand which was already misbehaving on her body, and while panting, said, "Not now. I have to go home soon." Because Song Anni knew that once they started, there was no stopping for an hour. More importantly, she'd probably be too exhausted to walk afterward. Deprived of satisfaction, Li Tianyu left a strong hickey on Song Anni's neck in rebuke, marking a large strawberry.
Then he buried his head in Song Anni's neck to calm himself, his voice husky and low. "I'll go take a bath, and then I'll drive you home." Chapter 10. Song Xiaoxiao, the half-sister from a different mother. Li Tianyu was showering inside, and Song Anni quickly packed her bags. But when she changed her clothes, she encountered a problem. The front of her chest and neck were all marked by Li Tianyu. This man. Song Anni had to change into a high-necked shirt she had never worn before. When Li Tianyu came out, he saw Song Anni wearing a goose-yellow high-necked shirt. She looked fluffy all over, her hair simply tied into a ponytail, revealing her smooth forehead. Her cheeks were flushed, and her eyes were still foggy, which reminded him of a popular internet term, cute and silly. She naturally had a baby face, which made her look young, but now she even looked like an underage middle school student. Li Tianyu walked over and deliberately asked, "Why did you suddenly change your clothes? Don't you dislike high necklines, saying it makes your neck uncomfortable?" He knowingly asked. This man is really bad. Song Anni rolled her eyes at Li Tianyu. Li Tianyu chuckled.
When they first moved in together, Song Anni was as cautious as a quail in front of him. Now she even dared to roll her eyes at him. Good, she's making progress. Li Tianyu personally drove Song Anni back to Song Garden. After getting out of the car, Li Tianyu left. As soon as Song Anni entered the door, housekeeper Aunt Zhao immediately greeted her. "Miss, you're finally back." Song Anni asked, "Aunt Zhao, where's my dad?" "Master hasn't come back yet, but Madam is at home, and she made tonight's meal with her own hands." Song Anni nodded and went upstairs. Just as Song Anni was about to enter her room, the door across the room opened. "You finally came back? I thought you wouldn't come back in this lifetime." The person speaking was Song Anni's half-sister, Song Xiaoxiao. Song Xiaoxiao was in her senior year of high school, but her hairstyle was the latest popular pear blossom curl. Her makeup was exquisite, with fiery red lips. Her clothes were more risque than her age warranted, and her nails were adorned with various patterns. Standing next to the makeup-free Song Anni, Song Xiaoxiao made Song Anni look more like a high school student. Song Anni didn't have a good relationship with his sister, and she was used to her provocations. Song Anni opened the door casually and dismissively replied, "Have you finished your homework? You're taking the college entrance examination this year, right?" Song Anni entered the room as soon as she opened the door, but Song Xiaoxiao walked right in, saying, "Who was the man who brought you back? That's not Brother Chenkai's car. Did you guys break up?" Song Anni replied, "That's none of your business." Mentioning He Chenkai, Song Anni's face looked unpleasant. Song Xiaoxiao started to gloat. "I guessed right, didn't I? I told you long ago that Brother Chenkai will find you boring sooner or later, and he will be disgusted with you, Song Anni. When did Brother Chenkai dump you?" Song Anni was furious and pointed at the door. "Song Xiaoxiao, please get out of my room." "Song Anni, who do you think you are? How dare you order me out of here? This is my home, and you are just an extra burden to our family. Listen, Dad has already promised me, once I finish my college entrance examination, he will take me and Mom to vacation in the Maldives." "Just the 3 of us. Why did you come back, Song Anni? You are redundant here."
"Xiaoxiao, stop it."
Wang Xiaoying walked in and sternly said to Song Xiaoxiao,
"How can you talk to your sister like this? Get out."
Song Xiaoxiao left reluctantly. Wang Xiaoying sat next to Song Anni, and holding Song Anni's hand, she said,
Xiao Xiao is young and ignorant. You don't need to take her words to heart.
Chapter 11. The deadweight in this family. Song Anni stealthily pulled her hand from Wang Xiuying's grasp, saying,
Aunt Wang, I understand. I won't tell my father about these things.
Regarding Wang Xiuying, Song Anni had always addressed her as Aunt Wang, even though she'd been part of this family for 10 years. All these years, Wang Xiuying was never severe with her in their daily life, but Song Anni hadn't felt at home since the woman had married her father. Just as Song Xiaoxiao had said, she had become the third wheel in this otherwise happy trio. Wang Xiuying said,
Your father is back. Let's go to the dining room to eat.
Song Junjie was pleased to see Song Anni. He knew she was visiting and had purposely bought her favorite durian millefeuille.
But then, Song Xiaoxiao took the opportunity while Song Junjie was absent to throw the millefeuille cake in the trash. When Song Junjie discovered what she had done, she pointed out innocently, Dad, it smells so bad. I get a headache when I smell it. Look around this house. You don't like durian, and Mom and I don't either. We shouldn't have to suffer just because my sister likes it. I still have homework to do. Just as Song Junjie was about to scold her, Wang Xiuying came over and said, It's just a millefeuille. I'll buy another one tomorrow. I cooked so many delicious dishes today, it's not worth upsetting the child over a cake. Annie, you don't mind, do you? Song Annie said lightly, I don't mind. That was her way of surviving in this family. It was best not to concern herself with everything. Song Junjie felt guilty seeing Song Annie's indifferent attitude. Because he remembered that Annie was lively and cute when she was little, not like this. Indeed, he had failed her. During dinner, Song Xiaoxiao intentionally stirred up trouble, saying to Song Junjie,
Dad, you probably don't know. Sister has broken up with brother Chenkai.
Song Junjie was quite surprised. Anni, is this true? Speaking of which, Song Anni really had to thank Song Xiaoxiao for her gossipy nature. Otherwise, she wouldn't know how to broach the subject. Song Anni said calmly,
Yes, we broke up.
Why? Weren't you two doing fine? I was just discussing with Uncle He about letting you two get married right after graduation. Did something misunderstand between you and Chenkai?
Song Anni said, Dad, there's no misunderstanding between us. You know Zhou Meili, right? She's pregnant, and the child is her Chenkai's.
Song Junjie was furious. That rogue Chenkai. How dare he do such outrageous things? Anni, rest assured, I'll go to the He family and demand justice for you. Song Xiaoxiao added fuel to the fire from the side, saying,
Isn't Zhou Meili your best friend? The one from that poor family who can't make ends meet? Even such a poor thing has poached your boyfriend. Sister, how can you be so useless?
Even brother Chenkai chose a girl from such a family background over you. It's obvious how terrible you are. Song Junjie was angry. Xiaoxiao, shut up. But Song Xiaoxiao wasn't done. She persisted. What I'm saying is true. Does Annie even look like the daughter of the entertainment tycoon, Song Junjie? She's so unsophisticated. She looks like she's from a village. Brother Chenkai is no fool. He'll despise her sooner or later. Just as Song Junjie was about to lose his temper, Song Annie put down her chopsticks and said, I'm full now. You all enjoy your meal. With that, Song Annie returned to her room. When it came to her Chenkai, Song Annie still felt heartbroken. He was her first love, a boy she had earnestly loved for 10 years. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, Song Annie wouldn't have believed that her Chenkai would cheat. After a while, Song Junjie entered the room. Annie, Song Junjie called her. Chapter 12. Suddenly saw the strawberry mark on her neck. Song Junjie walked to Song Annie's side, held Song Annie's hand and asked, Annie, how could you not inform your father about such a significant matter? Song Annie responded, There's nothing much to tell. It was just a breakup. It happened and it's over. Although Annie said so, Song Junjie understood his daughter's temperament too well. These two children, who were childhood sweethearts, had been deeply in love. The Song and He families had long regarded each other as future family. Unexpectedly, such things would happen. Song Junjie sat next to Song Annie and said, Now that things have reached this point, there is no need to mend this relationship. It's good that it ended. You have been a scholar since your youth. That kid Chenkai has always been a layabout. He is not worthy of you.
The man who can marry my precious daughter will certainly be the best man in this world. With that, Song Junjie took out an invitation from his pocket and said, "This is an invitation to Li Changming's 71st birthday banquet. All the major families in Feng City have received an invitation, with specific instructions for each family to bring along their eligible young woman. Clearly, it's a matchmaking event for the crown prince of the Li family, Li Tianyu. Each family only has one spot for a female participant, and I plan to bring you along." Song Anni did not expect to hear Li Tianyu's name at home. If Song Junjie knew that she was secretly married to the crown prince he was talking about, she didn't know how he would react. But Song Anni chose not to say anything. Song Junjie put the invitation in Song Anni's hand and told her, "Anni, I know that I have neglected you in this family, but always remember that in my heart, I will always love you the most." If Song Anni was still a child, she would definitely believe him. But now, she could only lower her head and lukewarmly said, "I know." Seeing Song Anni's manner, Song Junjie sighed and left. Song Anni held the invitation in her hand and stared at it blankly. Was the Li family planning to have an open matchmaking event for Li Tianyu? Song Anni looked at the date of the invitation. It turned out that Li Changming's birthday was a week from now, but Song Anni had never heard Li Tianyu mention this. Unexpectedly, she felt a bit lost. But then again, even if Li Tianyu told her about it, what's the point? They were secretly married. Li Tianyu would not really bring her back to his family. Sometimes, when Song Anni was lost in her thoughts, she felt her marriage to Li Tianyu was just a farce. Just when Song Anni was indulging in her wild thoughts, the door was pushed open. Song Xiaoxiao strutted in arrogantly. Song Anni frowned. "What are you doing here?" Song Xiaoxiao didn't beat around the bush. "I heard everything that Dad just told you. Song Anni, the idea that you have a chance with Li Tianyu is simply ludicrous. Hand over the invitation to me." Song Anni was undecided whether to attend this event, but seeing how Song Xiaoxiao behaved, she didn't want to give it up. So she directly hid the invitation behind her back, saying, "Song Xiaoxiao, you're still underage. Are you planning to go on a matchmaking date?" Song Xiaoxiao said, "I'm turning 18 in 2 months. Even if I'm underage, I still have a higher chance of becoming Mrs. Li than you. Chenkai doesn't even want you. Young Master Li probably doesn't even see you. Stop your daydreaming. It would be better to give me the invitation. At least there will still be a glimmer of hope for the Song family to marry into the wealthy Li family of Nan City." Song Anni indifferently said, "Please leave. I won't give you the invitation." Song Xiaoxiao realized that her words were useless, so she intended to snatch it directly. She forcibly pressed Song Anni on the bed to seize the invitation from her hand. Song Anni didn't expect Song Xiaoxiao to be so presumptuous. She used a grappling technique, directly pressing Song Xiaoxiao's hand onto the bed. She had been practicing Taekwondo since she was little, and had already achieved the 5th-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Song Xiaoxiao cried out because of the pain in her wrist. "Song Anni, how dare you do this to me? I am telling Dad. Let go of me!" Song Anni released Song Xiaoxiao. "Go ahead and tell him. I don't care." With frustration written all over her face, Song Xiaoxiao knew of Song Anni's fighting prowess. On regular days, she would just pick a verbal fight. Just as she was about to leave, she suddenly saw a hickey on Song Anni's neck. Chapter 13. The Trouble of a University. Li Sichen. Song Anni never liked wearing high-necked shirts, something Song Xiaoxiao knew very well. She had found it odd today, and unexpectedly, she uncovered such a shocking secret. Song Xiaoxiao swiftly stepped forward and forcefully pulled down Song Anni's collar. "Song Anni, I'm going to tell Dad that you've been messing around with men outside."
You have hickeys here, but you've broken up with brother Chenkai. It must be that scumbag who brought you home today." Song Xiaoxiao sneered. "Song Anni, I didn't expect you to be so promiscuous. Could it be that you've given brother Chenkai a green hat all along, and that's why he dumped you?" "Song Xiaoxiao, shut up! I guessed it right, didn't I? If you want me to keep this secret, give me the invitation and tell Dad voluntarily that you don't want to attend. Otherwise, not only will I let Dad know, but also brother Chenkai, Uncle He, and Auntie He." Song Anni directly handed over the invitation. It wasn't Song Xiaoxiao's threat, but that Song Anni did not want to hear He Chenkai's name anymore.
Song Xiaoxiao took the invitation and left triumphantly. Song Anni finally felt some peace in her world. The next day, Song Anni got up early in the morning, not even eating breakfast, and rushed back to school with her luggage. Song Anni was a third-year journalism student at a university. As soon as she entered the campus, she received a distress message from her roommate, Jiang Xuejing, saying that she was harassed by 5 vile girls in the medical department's laboratory. Seeing the message, she tossed her suitcase on the side of the road and sprinted towards the lab building. The reason she was so urgent was because Song Anni was aware of the severity of the situation. Song Anni had previously conducted a project on school bullying, and these 5 vile girls were the main members involved. They even established an ice cream fan club on campus, where almost all bullying incidents in a university were related to this fan club. All of this violence was tightly intertwined with one individual, a man named Li Sichen, a widely recognized heartthrob and a third-year medical student at a university. The ancients have always said that beautiful women cause trouble, but handsome men are no less destructive. Li Sichen was a classic example. He was a decent guy himself, excelling in both academics and social reputation, and his daunting good looks were unbearable to people and ghosts. Therefore, he had a large group of fangirls at school. Because of his aloof personality, his fans aptly nicknamed him Iceberg Prince, and these fangirls called themselves Ice Cream, forming the Ice Cream Fan Club. The initial members of the fan club were 5 individuals who named themselves the 5 Ice Cream Princesses. However, everyone else labeled them as the 5 Vile Girls. This was because they bullied female students who had any contact with Li Sichen on campus. Those girls who sent love letters to Li Sichen, gifted him presents, or even talked with him a few times, would be bullied by these 5 girls in various ways. Song Anni remembered during her news project, a girl was bullied horrifically for delivering a love letter. The 5 vile girls burned her hair and forced her to take off her clothes to take pictures, which were later posted on the campus forum, leading the girl to almost commit suicide out of disgrace. Although the incident was severe, the culprits were only given a stern warning as punishment. It was only because the leader of the 5 vile girls, Jin Xuelian, was the mayor's daughter, and the others were children of incredibly wealthy families. In the face of money and power, the principal chose to turn a blind eye. Chapter 14. Campus Bullying. When Song Anni arrived, Jiang Xuejing was being held down on the lab bench by a group of girls. Qin Xuelian was holding a surgery knife lightly against Jiang Xuejing's face. "Dare to seduce Prince? I will scratch your face and see if Prince will glance at you in the future." Jiang Xuejing was desperately explaining. "I didn't seduce him. We both study medicine and are in the same research group. It's normal for us to communicate a bit. You accuse me of seducing him because I talk to him? If you occasionally chew a bone, can I call you a dog? Would you accept that?" Qin Xuelian said angrily, "You dare insult me? You are asking for death. It seems like you need a lesson to remind you of your place." She was about to slash with a knife in her hand. "Stop!" Song Anni shouted loudly from the doorway. Everyone turned to look at the door. When Jin Xuelian saw Song Anni, she also froze. Song Anni was pretty popular at school, not only because of her beautiful face, which the boys all referred to as the beauty of the school, but also because of her family background. She is the daughter of Song Junjie, a big shot in the music industry, and the company he controls, Star Huan Entertainment, is one of the biggest talent agencies. Qin Xuelian had always wanted to make friends with Song Anni at school because she was studying performance arts. But Song Anni didn't give her any chance, and even the bullying incident that almost got her expelled before was reported by Song Anni. At that time, they had become enemies. Qin Xuelian said, "Song Anni, it's better for you to stay out of my business. Otherwise, we'll settle both old and new debts today." Song Anni had already come over, snatched the surgery knife from Jin Xuelian's hand, and said, "I'll handle this. Have you forgotten what the headmaster said last time when you did this? Even though you are the daughter of the mayor, if this bullying incident happens again, they won't hesitate to expel you." A smug smile curled Jin Xuelian's lips. "Don't worry, they won't. The headmaster is vying for the position of the director of education. He won't lose my father's political support over something so trivial. What if I post everything that just happened online?" Then Song Anni lifted up her phone. "I have recorded it all. If I use my father's resources, I assure you that your violent bullying incident will be known nationwide. Then even if your father can't bear the pressure and has to sacrifice you, at least your path to stardom will be destroyed." Just as Song Anni finished speaking, Qin Shilian lunged to snatch the phone. Song Anni took a step back, held up the phone, and said, "Don't bother. I've already saved it to the cloud. Even if you destroy this phone, I can still guarantee you'll see explosive news tomorrow." Qin Shilian was trembling with anger, but she has always been arrogant and ruthless. She randomly picked up another knife from the lab table and held it against Jiang Shuijing's face. "Song Anni, you know I hate being threatened. Delete all the videos now, or I will destroy your friend's face. If you dare to ruin my future, I will ruin your friend's face." "What are you doing here?" A cold voice came from behind. Just when the two were at an impasse, a tall figure appeared at the entrance of the lab. "It's Prince!" A girl beside Qin Shilian excitedly shouted. As Song Anni turned around, the person who appeared at the door was none other than the instigator of all the campus bullying incidents, the so-called Ice Prince, Li Sichen. One cannot deny that Li Sichen's face is stunningly handsome.
The evidence was all over Qin Shuilian's face, which was, a moment ago, fierce and antagonistic, but now flushed with color. The same could be said for the girls surrounding her, their eyes almost shooting out stars. Song Anni reacted swiftly, speaking up immediately.
"Glad you're here. How can you tolerate a group of morons bullying schoolmates in your name? Although you're not directly involved, this chaos started because of you. Can't you rein in your brainless fans? Or do you actually enjoy having people fawning over you?" Song Anni knew her words were harsh, and that this wasn't entirely Li Sichen's fault. But his indifferent attitude mirrored that of a bystander, and he was the only one who could tame this crowd. Li Sichen glanced at Song Anni, his eyebrows furrowed. The frowning figure of him was remarkably similar to someone else, putting Song Anni in a daze for a moment. By this time, Qin Shuilian had gathered the courage to confront Song Anni. "Who are you to shout at Prince? You're manipulative, trying to attract Prince's attention by causing trouble, aren't you?" With this, she lunged to slap Song Anni. But Qin Shuilian's raised hand was caught in midair by Li Sichen.
His voice was cold as he asked, "How long are you going to keep this up?"
Qin Shuilian looked at Li Sichen, her eyes filled with infatuation. "Prince." "Don't call me Prince. I'm not a prince. For Uncle Jin's sake, I've let you off till now. Disband your fan club immediately, or else I'll report you for harassment." Qin Shuilian responded, "If you let me be your girlfriend, I promise not to bother anyone else. I've liked you for a long time." "I don't like you," Li Sichen said coldly. "As long as you don't have a girlfriend, I have the right to like you and pursue you. Everything I've done is for you." Li Sichen stated, "I already have a girlfriend." Everyone was stunned by this revelation, including Song Anni, who was standing nearby. Although Song Anni didn't know him well, as a journalism major with roommates who revered Li Sichen, she had heard plenty of rumors about him, but never that he had a girlfriend. Whoever his girlfriend is must be miserable, being the target of so much hate, Song Anni thought. Meanwhile, Qin Shuilian couldn't accept this information. "Who is she?"
"Tell me, who is she?" Li Sichen glanced at Song Anni and answered indifferently, "It's her, Song Anni." Song Anni almost blacked out. For one, she hadn't expected Li Sichen to know her name accurately. Secondly, what on earth was this icy-faced man saying? Did he realize this could put her in danger? Qin Shuilian was shaking her head and grinding her teeth. "I don't believe you. When did you start dating? You're lying to me, aren't you?" Li Sichen responded with an apathetic tone. "Starting from now." That said, he grabbed the back of Song Anni's head, leaned down, and pressed his cold lips against hers. Song Anni never imagined that one day she'd be forcefully kissed. Her mind went blank all of a sudden. The only sound she could hear was everyone else gasping in surprise. But it was just a brief, dragonfly skimming water type of kiss. After a slight touch, Li Sichen let go of Song Anni. Then he said to Qin Shuilian, "There, now you can give up. Don't make trouble in school again, or I won't consider the friendship between the Qin and Li families." Having said that, he left the lab hand in hand with Song Anni, with Jiang Shuijing hastily following behind. Song Anni, in a state of shock, allowed Li Sichen to guide her out of the laboratory building. Once outside, Song Anni suddenly came to her senses, forcefully pulling her hand out of Li Sichen's grip. "Li Sichen,
Why did you do that? She demanded. Song Anni was angry, not so much at Li Sichen's forced kiss, but at the fact that she didn't push him away straight away. Because for that brief moment, upon looking at his face, she thought he was Li Tianyu. She must have been bewitched. Li Sichen stopped in his tracks. His expression remained cold and indifferent, but he said, "Sorry." Song Anni instantly figured out his intentions. "So you used me as a shield. Why me?" "Because you are Song Junjie's daughter. Jin Xuelian wouldn't dare to lay a hand on you." Song Anni had guessed as much. In this school, Jin Xuelian dared to cross anyone except her. Even though she was the one who reported on Jin Xuelian's bullying incident, Jin had never sought her out for revenge. Song Anni clenched her fists before saying to Li Sichen, "You are really a bastard." Upon finishing her sentence, she turned and ran off. Jiang Xuejing gave Li Sichen a glance, then chased after Song Anni. The suitcase Song Anni had tossed aside in her haste had disappeared. However, apart from a few pieces of clothing, there was nothing important in it. So Song Anni didn't bother looking for it. Song Anni and Jiang Xuejing returned to their dorm together. Jiang Xuejing was full of guilt. "Annie, I'm sorry. If I hadn't asked you for help, none of this would have happened. Young Master He will definitely want to strangle me if he finds out you got forcibly kissed because of this." By this time, Song Anni and Jiang Xuejing were at the door of their dorm. Song Anni said, "This is not your fault. Moreover, I've already broken up with her Chenkai." Jiang Xuejing expressed her surprise. "How could this be? Young Master He treats you so well." Indeed, He Chenkai treated Song Anni exceptionally well. He had personally helped her move her luggage to the 5th floor on the first day of school, and continuously showered her with gifts and attention. Even their dorm mates benefited from his generosity. There were rumors that they had been childhood friends and came from matching social backgrounds. In the eyes of others, they were seen as the epitome of a perfect couple, causing much envy. How could they have broken up so easily? Song Anni remained silent and unlocked the dorm door with her key. The other two girls in the dorm were already there, Mei Jing, the top scholar, and Zhou Meili. Mei Jing had a stack of books and was preparing to leave for the library. As she passed by the door, she greeted them. Jiang Xuejing commented, "Jing, it's only the first day of school, and you're already heading to the library. Isn't that a bit much?" Mei Jing replied, "Time is meant to be used effectively, not wasted. I have to go now." Mei Jing was double majoring in finance and management. Apart from class hours, she was barely seen around and likely spent her time in the library. Out of the 4 girls in the dorm, only Song Anni and Zhou Meili were in the same news major and happened to know each other from high school, making their relationship the closest. However, Jiang Xuejing noticed that both girls were acting strangely today. After entering the room, neither of them initiated a conversation. They busied themselves with their own stuff, as if the other didn't exist. Jiang Xuejing felt the strange atmosphere. After a little hesitation, she suggested, "I'll treat you all to dinner tonight. Let's gather at Xian Family Courtyard, shall we?" Xian Family Courtyard was a unique hot pot restaurant that they often visited together in the past. Song Anni replied, "I have to move tonight, so I can't make it." Jiang Xuejing was surprised. "You're moving? Aren't you living in the dormitory anymore?" Song Anni replied, "I've rented a house outside. I'm moving out tonight." Jiang Xuejing was very surprised and asked further, "Why are you moving out? Isn't it great for the 4 of us to live together?" Zhou Meili suddenly interjected, "Xiaochu, don't ask anymore. She is a daughter of a wealthy family, so she probably isn't used to living in such a shabby campus dorm." Jiang Xuejing was at a loss for words, surprised at the tone Zhou Meili used, filled with sarcasm. But weren't the 2 of them the best of friends? Did they have a quarrel? Song Anni did not respond to Zhou Meili's words and quietly continued packing her things. In fact, she didn't have many things. Her new suitcase was far from full. Jiang Xuejing helped Song Anni move. The 2 of them rented a car and relocated the luggage to Maple Villa. When the car stopped at the residential area entrance, Jiang Xuejing was surprised. "So you live here too?" "Too?" Song Anni was puzzled. Jiang Xuejing quickly laughed and said, "Well, I heard a lot of celebrities live here. If you happen to bump into any, remember to get me an autograph." In fact, the chance of running into a celebrity here is quite slim. Every villa is independent, surrounded by tall trees, each with its own private driveway. It's possible to live here for years without knowing who your neighbor is. After moving, the sky had turned dark. Song Anni said, "I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Let's go to Qian's courtyard." Jiang Shuijing quickly replied, "Let me treat you instead. If it weren't for you today, I would probably have been disfigured." Song Anni didn't say anything, and the two of them went to Qian's courtyard together. There were a lot of questions about Song Anni and Jiang Shuijing's heart, like why she moved out suddenly, why she broke up with young Master He, and what happened between her and Zhou Meili. But she felt it inappropriate to ask about personal and emotional matters.
So during dinner, she carefully chose a safe topic.
Jiang Shuijing asked, "Did you have a fight with Meili?"
Mentioning Zhou Meili, Song Anni only felt a sharp pain in her heart. Song Anni said,
"Don't ask about that. My relationship with her seems to have run its course."
Seeing a hint of pain flash in Song Anni's eyes, Jiang Shuijing suddenly regretted her question. Perhaps she shouldn't have asked.
Jiang Shuijing said, "Never mind. Let's drop the subject. Anni, if you're feeling down, let's have some drinks."
After all that had occurred today, Song Anni was actually feeling extremely frustrated. So she didn't object, even though she knew she didn't have a strong tolerance for alcohol.
Jiang Shuijing didn't expect Song Anni to get utterly drunk after just 2 beers. With no other choice, she had to take Song Anni back to Maple Villa. After making sure Song Anni was asleep, Jiang Shuijing left alone. In the exclusive driveway of the villa, Jiang Shuijing saw a black Bentley. Could it be that Song Anni wasn't living alone? Perhaps it was her family? Although Jiang Shuijing was puzzled, she didn't think too much about it.
When Li Tianyu arrived at the villa, he noticed that the lights in the bedroom were on. Good. It seemed Song Anni had moved here, pretty swiftly. But when Li Tianyu saw Song Anni, smelling of alcohol, and in a half-asleep state on the bed, he couldn't help but frown. This girl, she dared to drink. Li Tianyu sat by the bed and touched Song Anni's flushed face. Song Anni was woken up by the cold touch. She opened her eyes in a daze, and when she saw Li Tianyu's slightly furrowed brow, she laughed, saying, "Brother Chenkai, you're back." Upon hearing this, Li Tianyu's brow furrowed even deeper. His voice turned colder. "What did you call me?" Song Anni mumbled ambiguously as she rolled over. "Brother Chenkai." A fury arose inexplicably within Li Tianyu. Pinching Song Anni's cheeks, he said coolly, "Song Anni, look at me properly. Who am I?" To his surprise, Li Tianyu noticed that his fingertips were slightly damp and chilled. Song Anni was closing her eyes, but a tear slipped down her cheek. This girl, she was actually crying. Li Tianyu got up, brought a warm towel over, sat at the edge of the bed, and gently wiped away Song Anni's tears. Though Song Anni was waking up in a daze, the sensation felt like a dream, as if she was a child again, lying in her mother's arms, sitting on a swing in the backyard, gazing at the stars in the sky. She blinked open her eyes and saw Li Tianyu. Li Tianyu was careful and gentle in his movements, as if he were cherishing a precious thing. It had been a long time since Song Anni felt this cared for, especially by this man, her husband, her own kin. Suddenly, Song Anni sat up, wrapped her arms around Li Tianyu's neck, and kissed him. It was the first time Song Anni took the initiative. She would have never dared in usual circumstances. But with a bit of alcohol clouding her mind, Song Anni just wanted to be closer to this man. Her hand even began to hesitantly wander lower, stirring him. Li Tianyu's first response was to freeze as he was taken aback. Song Anni had never previously been so proactive or bold. Right now, Song Anni was looking at him with foggy eyes, her face pink and an alcoholic scent about her. She looked like an enchanting fairy tempting him. Despite her clumsy attempts at seduction, Li Tianyu inexplicably found himself aroused. He had to admit that the Song Anni in front of him right now was extremely tempting. But in the end, he grabbed her wandering hand, his voice cold, yet noticeably huskier. Li Tianyu asked, "Song Anni, are you in heat?" Upon hearing these words, it felt like Song Anni had a bucket of ice water poured over her from head to toe. Her lips left his, and she looked at the man in front of her in disbelief. The expression on Li Tianyu's face was one of coldness and disdain that Song Anni had never seen before. Li Tianyu had risen from the bed, saying, "I'm going to take a shower.
You should try to sleep early. The sound of running water echoed from the bathroom. Song Anni was now completely sober. She hid under the blanket with a pillow covering her face, but the tears just wouldn't stop falling. The disgust in Li Tianyu's eyes had completely shattered her already weak self-esteem. If Li Tianyu despised her, then why did he marry her? And why did he previously initiate intimacy with her so many times? The man in the bathroom stood impatiently under the shower head. The cold water seemed unable to quench the burning desires in his heart.
He had almost lost control just then. But once he remembered that Song Anni had mistaken him for her Chenkai, his anger flared. The thought of Song Anni seducing him while thinking of another man got him. Li Tianyu harshly punched the marble wall of the shower. Song Anni was awake. She was acutely aware that Li Tianyu stayed in the bathroom for a long time. Upon coming out, he went straight out of the bedroom and into the guest room. Song Anni's heart sank. The next day, it was the school opening ceremony. Song Anni woke up early. After freshening up, she planned to head straight to school. Just as she was passing the dining room, she heard a noise. Unable to resist, she walked in, only to see Li Tianyu in the kitchen making breakfast.